What's up, guys? Welcome to 7 Minutes with Kenneth. I will be your host today, tomorrow, and forever and always, as long as this vlog keeps happening. So, I want to start off this video with a insight into how I got started as my how I got started as a musician and my influences and all of that. So basically, I came up listening to a lot of radio. My dad always ran a radio in the car. We've always had music going on some way, shape, or form. So I got really into a lot of the mid '90s stuff. Soundgarden, Smashing Pumpkins, Nirvana was dope, was very dope for me at that time. Smells Like Teen Spirit. Everybody loved that. But the thing is, I didn't know what I was listening to. I was so young. I just knew that it had this significant sound, which obviously is a guitar, that I was drawn to. I was drawn to the sound of a guitar, the sound of distortion, and all of that. So '90s goes by. I'm growing up a little bit. I get into early 2000s, late '90s. We start getting the boy band pop phase. So I've got a Britney Spears CD. I've got an NSYNC CD. I've got a Backstreet Boys CD. And I have no shame in saying this because I had got so much vocal influence from these cats because of just repeating these CDs. I was working my vocals and I didn't even know it. I probably sounded terrible, but it's like a muscle. You just flex and flex, and after a while, it just starts to get better and better. So it. I had pulled a lot of pop influence from those type of artists, singers, and stuff like that. And then we move on into, let's see, I'm kind of getting in. Those were preteen years, so you start getting into like being a teenager, and things got a little more dark. I'll say because my music taste got more heavy. I yearned for something when I started listening to heavy music that stained, like I said, Soundgarden, Mudvayne, Slipknot, Tool, all of those guys. What shoot, Seven Dust and Breaking Benjamin. All that music was such a heavy influence on me, on just because of the fact that I could relate to what those guys were saying at the time. Every aspect. I was coming home listening to that music, grabbing my skateboard, skating down my sidewalk, blasting this music, just letting this stuff resonate because I could relate to everything that these guys were saying at the time. So obviously I wanted to write stuff like that. And that's when I started to actually write music. At first I was a poet. So I was already doing lyrics. When I started writing music, I started to incorporate poetry into my music. And I believe that's where it got cohesive that I wanted to be a singer songwriter and didn't even know it. But that's where a lot of my influence came from. I also came from a very eclectic family. Like my family never made me feel like crap for listening to what I did. They always encouraged and were positive about things as long as I was going in a positive direction. So I appreciate that because that allowed me to explore and experiment with different sounds and ideas and philosophies and yada yada. So funny story. My first guitar was a toy guitar. My parents bought that for me for Christmas, and it was dope. It was black and purple. It had buttons that made sound effect noises. The strings didn't do anything, no pickups, but hey, it felt like a guitar. I thought I was a guitar player for real. I loved it. I took it to show and tell one day and showed off this thing. My teacher told me to say something about it to play it, and I didn't know anything about it. I didn't know how to play it. So that was ironic because how do you love something but don't know nothing about it? And that always kind of stuck with me. But I never really worried about it. Then as I grew up, I didn't really mess with guitars. But then my mom brought me my first actual guitar to play with from this store in Atala. I'm from Alabama, by the way. So, Atala, Alabama sounds kind of like it goes together, right? Like, I don't know. But, so I messed with that for so long and taught myself and this and that and the third. And, guitars came after that. But that's when I got really obsessed. And at that time, I was in the not marching, I was in concert band at Gaston High School. So that's where I got a lot of. I was a drum player, so snare drum to be exact. So I picked up timing, rhythm, learned a little bit of drum sheet music. That really got me more into the technical aspect of music. But then I didn't want to do marching because it to me it took away from the artistry, the creative aspect of what I wanted to do as a musician. I always kind of knew I wanted to be a recording artist or an artist. So just playing things out of routine for a school just didn't appeal to me. So I left that, taught myself drums on a kit, and then got heavy back onto guitar after the whole drum thing didn't really work out. And that's when my guitar playing became obsessive. I was playing like 5 hours every single day because I just loved it. I finally figured out how to make power chords and stuff like that, and I could not put it down. So it's obvious that I was meant to play this thing, man. I enjoyed it and I loved it, and I still do to this day. Um, it's to be able to play an instrument is a gift. I wasn't taught by anybody per se. Like I said, I was just in a room by myself, hashing it out, trying to figure it out, trial and error. This sounds crap. This doesn't. Up. No, next thing you know, I'm trying to like write music and I'm singing on top of it. Up. Now I'm trying to write. It just build over time. So that's a little bit about me and my background with music, guitar playing, and my influences. And I hope you guys, uh, you know, enjoy this video. And I believe that's my 7 minutes. Stay tuned. Next week, we'll be covering some more material, some more guitar talk, and I would definitely love for you to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and follow the links at the bottom of the page to my coffee if you want to donate to this project or my next EP that I'm working on. And don't forget, my album drops April 26th. Defiance and Decadence. That will be available in all digital stores and outlets. So check in, check out. I'll be here and signing off.